Welcome to a battlefield of minds. Two grandmasters face off where every move cuts like a sword. One mistake, and it's over. This isn't just chess, it's war disguised as strategy. Let's dive in, move by move, into this epic clash. Wesley opens with f4. The king's pawn thrusts forward like a spear, declaring war right in the center of the board. Gomez calmly replies with e6. The French defense, solid and stubborn, building a wall and daring white to attack it. Wesley continues with d4. He grabs the center with both hands, setting the stage for a full-scale invasion. Gomez plays d5, the counterpunch, striking back at the heart of white's structure and locking horns in the middle. Wesley develops his knight to c3, a natural move, tightening control over d5 and preparing to expand further. Gomez mirrors with nf6, a challenge, aiming right at the e4 pawn and provoking early tension. Wesley pushes e5. The pawn storms forward like a battering ram, forcing the knight to retreat. Gomez withdraws nfd7, regrouping behind his pawns, ready to strike back at the right moment. Wesley supports his center with f4, a fiery move, setting up a massive pawn chain and showing no fear. Gomez plays c5, hammering at the base of white's structure, looking to undermine the proud center. Wesley brings out nf3, developing smoothly, reinforcing e5, and keeping his king safe for future castling. Gomez responds with n6. Pressure intensifies on d4, as black lines up all guns toward the center. Wesley calmly plays b3, a move full of intent, guarding d4 and eyeing future attacks on the queenside. Gomez adds a6, a useful move, preparing b5 and keeping white's pieces from jumping onto b5 squares. Wesley plays qd2, connecting queen and bishop, dreaming of a dangerous queenside castling and attack. Gomez advances b5. The counterattack begins, pawns rolling forward like tanks on the queenside. Wesley answers with a3, a bold response, stopping b4 and showing that he's ready for a long war. Gomez develops bb7. The dark bishop awakens, staring at the long diagonal, waiting for action. Wesley places bd3, building his fortress, each piece covering the next, eyes fixed on Gomez's king. Gomez calmly castles. The king tucks away behind his pawns, safe for now, amid rising tension. Wesley castles too, both kings now secured, the battlefield fully drawn, no turning back. Gomez plays f6, a thunderclap in the center, challenging white's mighty pawn chain head-on. Wesley captures xf6, clean and confident, opening files and creating targets around black's position. Gomez retakes with bxf6, a natural recapture, activating the bishop and restoring central balance. Wesley plays b2, flexible and safe, aiming to regroup his forces before launching the next wave. Gomez strikes with cxd4, the queenside explodes, and the center trembles under pressure. Wesley replies in x4, no hesitation, the knight jumps into the fray, restoring order and keeping momentum. Gomez trades nx4, simplifying the tension, removing a key defender from the field. Wesley calmly takes bx4. The bishop steps in, maintaining his grip and pointing its spear toward the king's side. Gomez plays bxt4. He doesn't wait. Exchanges continue as both generals reduce the chaos. Wesley recaptures qxt4. The queen claims the center like a victorious commander surveying the field. Gomez slides qb6. Eyes locked on b2 and d4, threatening tactical storms to come. Wesley trades queens with qxb6, a wise decision, reducing immediate danger and heading toward a clearer plan. Gomez retakes nxb6. The knight becomes a sturdy defender, anchoring the queenside for now. Wesley plays b3, a quiet but deep move, fixing his pawn structure and preparing for long-term space. Gomez brings raid. The rook joins the fray, taking an open file and looking for counterplay. Wesley activates bg4. The bishop rises like a sniper, pinning potential defenders and eyeing weak points. Gomez moves n7, centralizing his knight, tightening defense, and eyeing potential counterthrusts. Wesley doubles with Rayoni. Coordination is the key, his rooks now humming in perfect harmony. Gomez counters nc5-5, a sharp leap forward, putting pressure on e5 and ready to stir up trouble. Wesley answers re5, dynamic and bold. He places his rook deep, challenging the black knight's post. Gomez reinforces with rf6. The rook joins to guard the 6th rank, preparing both defense and counterblows. Wesley shifts net2, a reroute in progress, looking to jump into key squares and harass black's defenses. Gomez steadies with n7. The knight returns home, guarding vital territory and keeping things solid. Wesley reorganizes with re3, calm before the storm, lining up rooks and preparing for a deep strike. Gomez responds nc5, again planting his knight on that strong outpost, daring white to challenge it. Wesley plays k-gone. The king quietly steps aside, anticipating future rook maneuvers and safety. Gomez jumps ne4. The knight dives into enemy soil, sharp and dangerous, threatening to flip the entire balance. Wesley replies bf3. The bishop interposes, eyeing the menacing knight and preparing to resist. Gomez counters nd2. The knight pivots cleverly, tightening the net and refusing to back down. Wesley plays bf3. The bishop retreats to a strong square, shielding his king and eyeballing the invasive knight on d2, while preparing a coordinated e-file assault. Gomez answers nd2. The knight plunges deep into white's camp, threatening forks and tactical nuisances that try to unbalance Wesley's tidy structure. Wesley replies Reone. Wesley slides his rook to a1, centralizing heavy pieces and preparing to contest open files while keeping his king's side intact. Gomez activates r8. Gomez brings a rook to c8, grabbing the open file to support his knight and to create counterplay on the queen side. Wesley moves bg4. Wesley pins aggressively with bg4, increasing pressure, aiming to trade off defenders and expose black's ragged kingside shelter. Gomez replies rxct2. Gomez's rook rips into c2 and captures a pawn, an audacious raid that invades white's second rank and snatches material. Wesley strikes back with nb4. Wesley's knight bolts to d4, attacking the intruding rook while opening tactical shot lines and demanding immediate resolution. Gomez coolly retreats rb2. The rook slips back to b2, preserved and menacing, still lodged on white's rank and sowing discord. Wesley plays bxe6. Wesley sacrifices his bishop on e6, blasting open black's king position, and forcing the monarch into perilous exposure. Gomez steps k-fight. Gomez's king shuffles to fight, seeking shelter after the violent rupture, while the battlefield turns jagged and tactical. Wesley pushes 5. Wesley hammers the king side with 5, driving pawns forward to pry open lines and convert initiative into a full-scale assault. Gomez answers g6. Gomez responds with ga6 to block files and blunt the attack, a defensive brace that also creates fresh weaknesses. Wesley plays r3-2. Wesley doubles rooks via r3-l2, concentrating firepower on the e-file and preparing to break into black's fragile position. Gomez bites with nxb3. Gomez's knight snatches the pawn on b3, counterattacking on the queen side, and attempting to generate chaotic chances. Wesley replies rxb2. Wesley's rook instantly recaptures on b2, neutralizing the incursion and restoring material while keeping heavy pieces active. Gomez regains with nx4. Gomez captures on d4, eliminating a key defender and complicating the position with dynamic piece play. Wesley plays rb2. Wesley calmly redeploys his rook from b2 to e2, reuniting his rooks and tightening pressure on the central files. Gomez snaps f5. Gomez's knight captures on f5, grabbing a pawn and attempting to open lines to relieve his cramped king position. Wesley responds rf2. Wesley swings his rook to f2, eyeing the overextended knight and preparing to clamp down on black's fragile center. Gomez pushes a5. Gomez advances h5 to gain loft and counterplay, a risky shove that further exposes his already weakened king cover. Wesley advances f5. Wesley thrusts the pawn forward, expanding on the queen side to cramp black's pieces and create fresh infiltration routes. Gomez slides f5. Gomez mirrors the pawn push with f5, clashing on the flank and trying to blunt white's queenside ambitions. Wesley captures bsf5. Wesley's bishop captures on f5, eliminating the active knight and simplifying into a clearer winning structure. Gomez retakes gsf5. Gomez recaptures with g-pawn, opening files but worsening the dark square cover around his exposed king. Wesley doubles rex5. Wesley's rooks combine on f5, doubling heavy artillery to slice through black's fragile pawn shield with ruthless coordination. Gomez counterswings ris f5. Gomez sacrifices his rook back with rx f5, forcing exchanges in a bid to reduce mating threats and complicate matters. Wesley retakes rese f5. Wesley recaptures with a rook and delivers check, driving black's king further into the open and tightening the noose. Gomez steps k7. Gomez's king staggers to e7, marching into the open in search of refuge, but finding only more relentless threats. Wesley pushes h4. Wesley thrusts h4 to launch a pawn storm, swelling the assault on the king and creating decisive open lines. Gomez plays kd6. Gomez ventures his king to d6, a desperate, risky attempt to shelter among his troops that invites further pressure. Wesley advances g4. Wesley surges with g4. rolling pawns forward like siege engines to pry open final seams toward black's monarch. Gomez responds b8. Gomez retreats his bishop to c8, trying to regroup and patch holes, but his defensive resources are fraying. Wesley brings rf6. Wesley's rook storms to f6 with check, a crushing incursion that drives the black king deeper into mortal danger. Gomez steps f5. Gomez king flees to f5, desperately seeking safety but instead walking into an even tighter net of threats. Wesley pushes g5. Wesley keeps the pedal down with g5, pounding the position until black's structure buckles and key squares fall. Gomez replies d4. Gomez counterpunches with d4, attempting to distract white's forces and create counterplay from the center amid chaos. Wesley plays rb6. Wesley swings a rook to b6, cutting escape routes and coordinating pieces to seal black's king into a cage. Gomez answers d3. Gomez advances the pawn to d3, a last-ditch passed pawn hope that tries to complicate the ending. Wesley brings kf2. Wesley calmly centralizes his king to f2, joining the operation and ensuring his forces stay harmonized for the finale. Gomez tries kd4. Gomez shuffles his king to d4, still searching for shelter but increasingly trapped by white's precise maneuvers. Wesley shoves g6. Wesley pushes g6, a relentless pawn thrust that tears open promotion paths and chokes black's defensive breath. Gomez finds bf5. Gomez interposes bf5 to block the pawn's path, offering the last defensive screen against queening threats. Wesley keeps going j7. Wesley's pawn strides to g7, a heart-stopping step away from queening that turns the board into a grave for black. Gomez defends bs7. Gomez places his bishop on h7, desperately covering the queening square, while prayer and tactics mingle. Wesley captures rx b5. Wesley's rook captures on b5, snatching material and clearing escape squares while keeping absolute domination on the board. Gomez answers kc3. Gomez king clings to c3, hoping for tricks but finding all avenues sealed by Wesley's relentless coordination. Wesley drives rc5e. Wesley delivers the decisive rc5e check, a clinical, unstoppable finish that seals victory and forces immediate resignation. The video ends here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you again, everyone. See you in the next video.